might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break.
Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today, we're baking a classic apple pie together. It's a delightful treat, perfect for any occasion. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Get your aprons ready and let's begin. This recipe is a family favorite, passed down through generations. My grandmother taught me to bake this pie, and now I'm sharing it with you. It's a simple recipe, but the result is pure deliciousness. We'll take it step by step, so don't worry if you're a beginner. Remember, baking is all about patience and love. Take your time, enjoy the process, and don't be afraid to get your hands messy. The most important ingredient is your enthusiasm. So, let's put on our happy faces and get started on our apple pie journey. For our apple pie, we'll need a few simple ingredients. Don't worry, they are easy to find at your local grocery store. Let's start with the crust. We need flour, butter, a pinch of salt, and ice water. For our delicious apple filling, we'll use, of course, apples. I recommend using a mix of Granny Smith and Honeycrisp for a balanced sweet and tart flavor. We'll also need sugar, cinnamon, a touch of nutmeg, and a squeeze of lemon juice. Finally, we'll need an egg for brushing the crust and giving it a beautiful golden shine. Don't forget a bit of butter for greasing the pie dish. Now that we have all our ingredients, let's move on to making the crust. First, we'll combine the flour and salt in a large bowl. Then, we'll add the cold butter cut into small cubes. Using a pastry cutter or your fingertips, we'll work the butter into the flour until the mixture resembles coarse crumbs. Now, here's a little tip. Keep the butter cold for a flakier crust. Add the ice water, 1 tablespoon at a time, mixing lightly until the dough just comes together. Don't overwork it. Shape the dough into a disc, wrap it in cling film, and chill in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. This allows the gluten to relax, making the crust easier to roll out later. While the dough chills, let's prepare the apple filling. Peel, core, and slice the apples thinly. I like to use a mandolin for even slices, but a knife works just as well. In a large bowl, toss the apple slices with sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, and a squeeze of lemon juice. The lemon juice helps to prevent the apples from browning and adds a touch of freshness. Give the mixture a good stir, ensuring the apples are evenly coated with the spices. Now our apple filling is ready, and we can proceed to assemble the pie. Now comes the fun part. Lightly flour your work surface and rolling pin. Roll out half of the chilled dough into a circle large enough to fit your pie dish. Transfer the rolled out dough into the greased pie dish, gently pressing it into the bottom and sides. Pour the prepared apple filling into the pie crust. It's okay if it looks like a lot of filling, it will bake down beautifully. Roll out the remaining dough into a circle for the top crust. Now you can get creative with the top crust. You can cut it into strips for a lattice top, use cookie cutters for decorative shapes, or simply place the whole circle on top. If you're using a whole top crust, remember to cut a few vents to allow steam to escape during baking. Preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Before we bake, brush the top crust with a beaten egg for a beautiful golden brown finish. This also helps to seal the edges of the crust. Place the pie on a baking sheet to catch any drips and bake for 45 to 55 minutes. The pie is ready when the crust is golden brown and the filling is bubbly. While the pie bakes, let's take a moment to answer some of your questions. Now, let's take a few minutes to answer your questions. I see many of you are curious about different apple varieties for pies. Granny Smith is a classic choice for its tartness, while Honeycrisp adds sweetness. You can also use Braeburn, Pink Lady, or even a mix of your favorites. Some of you are asking about the baking time. Remember, every oven is different, so keep an eye on your pie. If the crust starts to brown too quickly, you can loosely cover it with foil. And for those asking about serving suggestions, apple pie is delicious on its own, but a scoop of vanilla ice cream or a dollop of whipped cream takes it to another level. Our apple pie is out of the oven, and it looks absolutely divine. The crust is a beautiful golden brown, and the aroma of cinnamon and apples fills the air. It needs to cool for at least an hour before slicing, allowing the filling to set. While the pie cools, let's talk about some tips and tricks for baking success. Remember, baking is a science, but it's also an art. Don't be afraid to experiment and add your personal touch to your creations. The most important thing is to enjoy the process. Baking should be a joyful experience, and the delicious results are a reward for your efforts. Our apple pie has cooled, and it's time to slice and serve. Use a sharp knife to cut through the crust and filling. You'll see the beautiful layers of apples, coated in a sweet and syrupy sauce. Serve each slice warm, with a scoop of vanilla ice cream or a dollop of whipped cream if you like. The combination of warm pie, cold ice cream, and the sweet tart apple filling is simply irresistible. Take a moment to savor the flavors and textures. The flaky crust, the soft apples, the warm spices. It's a symphony of deliciousness. Remember, practice makes perfect. Don't be discouraged if your first pie isn't perfect. Keep trying, and you'll master the art of pie making in no time. Here are a few more tips. Always use cold ingredients for the crust. Don't overwork the dough, and bake the pie until the crust is golden brown and the filling is bubbly. And most importantly, have fun. Baking is a wonderful way to express your creativity and share delicious treats with loved ones. So, gather your ingredients, put on your apron, and let's bake some happiness. Thank you for joining me today in my kitchen. I hope you enjoyed baking this classic apple pie with me. Remember, the recipe is just a guideline. Feel free to adapt it to your liking. Don't forget to share photos of your beautiful apple pies. I can't wait to see your creations. Happy baking, everyone! And until next time, may your kitchens be filled with the sweet aroma of homemade treats.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say.